Hello, and welcome back to a New Pace podcast where we take time to discuss and contemplate, times to pause, act, create, and empower. Today we have Kalie Woolley here to talk to me about what she does and think about kind of the different elements and how relates to her life and her ideas and what matters to her. So, hi, Kalie.
Hi.
Good to have you on the podcast.
Thank you
And
for having me.
yeah, it's good to be able to just have these conversations. And I suppose the intention for this is to be able to go back and forward and see like how what you do can help other people and inspire other people and kind of just see like how it fits in with like so many things that we have in common, isn't there? Like
Yeah.
with what we do. So if you were to just explain to everybody, to me, to anyone that's listening, what it is that you do, how you help people.
Yeah, so I have Soul Sister Society, which is mainly a book club where a self-development book club. So my purpose, I would say, with that is to encourage women to not only read a self-development book, but actually take action from that and implement what it is they learn. And to just have a community of women around them who's on the same journey. So if they have any questions, if they need support, if they need a little pick me up, then we've got that community to kind of gather around. So it's a lovely group of women who are all on the same journey together.
Yeah, that sounds good. And what you said about actually reading the book and taking action on it is so important, isn't it? So
Yeah.
easy just to read something and then have that self development, but not
Yes.
really do anything.
Yeah.
So
Big difference between reading and implementing.
yeah. And how did you get started with that? What was it that made you think, actually, this is a book club will be what I need?
So I was reading books, I was reading the books, I was listening to the podcast, I was saving quotes on Instagram, and I started to realize that nothing was actually changing. So even though I was reading maybe two books a month and listening to a podcast every day, nothing in my life was changing. And I realized it's because I was consuming a lot of content, but not actually doing anything with it. So that's kind of where I started to like change the way that I work. And then I started to feel lonely because nobody around me was on a self-development journey. So I wanted to talk about all these things that I was learning and different routines or rituals or whatever that I was putting into place. And you could see their eyes glaze over, like my mum and my best friend, because they're
Yeah.
not interested, which is fine. Not everybody wants to go on that journey. So I started feeling a little bit lonely. So I just thought, do I need a group of people or women or whatever who's on the same journey as me. And I found a book club on Instagram. So I joined it. And the first book we read together was Manifest by Roxy Nafousi. And
Mhm.
about 10 days in, so this was back in April, about 10 days in, the lady who was running it said she couldn't do it anymore because she had personal problems and she just didn't have the time. And I felt that was my sign that, okay, this is your time to step up
Yeah.
and create it yourself. So I put it out there. I got quite a lot of interest. And yeah, I just kind of went from there and I realised that I wasn't the only one who was reading and not doing anything. So I really try and make sure that I give my members the tools to help them implement what we read.
Mm. Yeah, because it sounds like it's something very much that you needed, and
Yes.
then you kind of found that space and then sharing that with other people.
Yeah.
And I can definitely resonate with that. You know, that sense of kind of having that accountability and that community at the same time. So what I'm hearing is that it's not just about the um implementing what you read, but being about surrounding yourself with people who might kind of have read something and go, ah, how does that land with me? How
Yeah.
does that? Oh, that's slightly different to what that's a similar message, but slightly different to how it was phrased in that other book. How
Yeah.
do they how do they fit for me, sort of thing?
Yeah, I think what's really powerful and the part that I love the most about the book club is you we all read the same book, but it's
Yeah,
amazing how much each person takes something different from each book. So we read The Goddess Path last month, and I took one thing from it, and then in the group, in the WhatsApp group that we have, one of the ladies took something completely different, and I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And just by listening to her perspective on it, it
Yeah.
shifted me as well. So it's not only that I'm helping them, but they help me as well because they give me a completely different, we all read a book and we all take something different from it. And if you're in a group of women who's willing to share, then you're not just going to take what you learn, but you're going to take what other people learn. And that opens your horizons even more. And that's where I like to say that's where the magic happens
Mm,
in the chats that we have with each other.
yeah. And has there been
Yeah.
like, have there been any sort of particular books that have really, like you said about the goddess path, was it? And because I'm curious
Yeah.
about like you've got these books that are in the group, haven't you, that you are listening to.
Mhm.
Has there been any particular ones that you would see as your like favorite that you would maybe recommend people to read?
Say it every month, every time we start a new book, I'll be like, oh, this is my favourite. Every
Yeah.
month, each book teaches me something different. And I think what I always say is I don't think there's one book, so to speak, that's changed anything massively. I think what I always say is you don't need one book to change your life, but if you just take one thing from every book you read,
Mm,
that compound effect is what's going to change your life. So we read Confidence by Roxy Nafousi. And like the one thing that I took from that is to give your inner critic a name so that when you the voice inside your head that's telling you you're not good enough or you shouldn't do that, if you give her like a personality and a character, that helps you quieten her down. The Goddess Path, the one thing I took from that is you put your hand over your heart on a morning and you just tune in to what it is that you need that day. So not what you need to do, but what you actually need for yourself. And then infinite receiving that we're doing at the moment is making me realize the barriers I have around money. So I think
mm,
it's hard to pick my favorite because each one's taught me something new. But I think if I
yeah.
had to, I would say The Goddess Path by Kirsty Gallagher completely changed the way I think about feminine and masculine energy. I think that really has set me on a path. I'm now doing more work on the goddesses. It's set me on a path down that route. So I'd
Mm,
probably say that's given me the biggest shift. But I always
yeah.
like to say if you can just take one thing from every book, over time you're going to change your life.
Yeah, and that seems like it's a really empowering way to help people to do that rather than saying that it's rather than putting the power in that book.
Hmm.
Now, actually, like those books are definitely things that I would maybe go away and have a look at and have a read of. But yeah, that message of take something from all the things that you're reading, anything that any inspiration that you get, and you could go to an event like an
Yeah.
in-person event or listen to something on a podcast or something where you might get that one thing or meet somebody and get that one thing, and then everybody's inspiration from each of these books will be different.
Yeah.
So then it's like, how might you take action on it?
Mm. Yeah, and I always say that books aren't what hold. Books are amazing. They're amazing tools to help you change whatever it is that you want to change. But you're the one that has the power to do that. So whatever you take from that book, like with The Goddess Path, that's kind of awakened something in me that wants me to travel down that.
Yeah,
And a lot of the girls in the book club don't want to do that, and that's fine. They've taken one of the girls has taken shadow work from it, rather that she realised she needs to go a lot deeper into her past to heal certain things. And I think that's the thing. As long as you take the one thing that you need the most from the book and you do something about it, the power lies in you, not the book. The book just
yeah,
kind of shines a light on what it is that you need at that time.
yeah, yeah, completely. And I suppose there is maybe something there about things that are already within you. I was
Hmm.
thinking about this of things that are already within you that you can like experience from a different perspective, or
Yeah.
that you can allow yourself to explore further through a different lens.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think like it goes back to that books and they're not a magic portal that's going to change your life, but like I say, it just shines the light on what it is that you need, and as long as you follow that, then you're gonna improve in more ways than you can imagine if you keep going with it.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of sort of like just thinking about you and your sort of journey and part of that, how you got started sort of thing. How, if I was to meet you sort of behind the scenes, like, like, are you the same, in public as you are in private? How would I sort of, who are you behind the scenes of the book club?
Yes, I probably am the same. I'm probably a little bit more, I'd say, reserved, maybe. Not so much with my book club members. So I have a podcast that's just out there for the public, and then I do my book club podcast.
Hmm.
So on my main podcast, I probably am a little bit more reserved about how I talk and what I say. Whereas in my book club, I am a lot more just me. Um, but I'm just, I say behind the scenes, I'm someone who I never stop talking. My poor partner has a headache every day. One of the reasons he
Love it.
encouraged me to do a podcast was like just talking to a microphone so I get an hour's peace. I kind of have no filter, and especially now, I'm very vocal about my beliefs. When I first started getting into manifestation, I was very self-conscious of people thinking I was crazy or weird. And now I own it
Mm.
100%. Everyone who meets me within 5 minutes knows that I have crystals in every room in my house, and I carry my tarot cards around with me and stuff. So, yeah, I think I am very much the same person, probably just on a bigger scale, face to face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? How we can be different in different environments. And I talk a lot about, helping people to express themselves and to feel safe enough to express themselves authentically. And
Mm.
that doesn't mean sharing every single detail about themselves. And it doesn't mean that it might be different in different environments, because actually that's part of being human and part of that journey of expression.
Mm.
So hearing it's refreshing to hear that, some people will hear different parts of you coming to light, and some people will hear like a more, like you use the word reserved, but I'd imagine it's maybe not necessarily reserved, but just different.
Yeah, it's
No,
probably just like a dialed down version. I'm just probably more
yeah,
conscious on my main podcast. Obviously, you don't know who's listening, you don't
yeah,
know, and there's certain things that I wouldn't want people I work with or my family or my friends to hear, especially if I'm talking about something that's quite close to my heart. But in my
yeah,
book club, we have such a strong sense of community that I feel like I know them. So when I'm on that podcast and I'm in the group, I'm a lot more open about talking about things that are a bit more sensitive or personal, because that's a safe space that I've created, if that makes
yeah,
sense. And I think as long as you have, yes, you do have like different faces maybe or different masks that you wear in certain parts of life, but I think as long as you've got that one safe space that you can be completely you, then that's all you need. And that, thankfully, that's what I've created with my membership.
yeah, yeah. And actually, if somebody was wanting to come and join your membership, my guess is that they would see that they would like notice that shift and notice
Yeah.
that there might be sort of more of like the behind the scenes things, I
Yeah.
suppose, and more of the kind of the quirkiness that with those nuances that we
Yeah.
might choose not to share to people. And there's a sense of boundaries with that, isn't there? I think
Yeah.
that it can be really helpful to make a choice about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying about the tarot cards and the crystals and manifestation and all of those things. And it's a sort of thing that like a lot of people might be really um overwhelmed by, scared of. They might maybe have read some books but not really know where to start, or not really know what these things would do
Mhm.
and what manifestation is. They might have heard real mixed views of it's a load of nonsense, or actually it fits in with this, it matches with this, and it's really powerful. How would you sort of um like maybe talk about it to somebody who maybe is cynical but curious, or like someone that's maybe leaning into it a little bit but just not sure where to start?
So I think for manifestation, there's such a I think it's becoming a lot more mainstream now, but I think it's been seen as very woo-woo and very like magical. And I think just realizing that I feel like manifestation and self-development are one and
Mm,
the same in some ways, because all you're doing with manifestation at the basics is just setting yourself up to be the best version of you,
yeah.
basically. Is all you're doing. And that's why they link so well together. So with manifestation, you don't have to do the crystals, you don't have to do the tarot cards, you don't have to do a 15-minute meditation every day if that's not your vibe. That's fine. I think as long as for manifestation it's just remembering that you're tuning in to who you want to be and taking small steps to get to that. It's not magic, it's
Mm,
not woo woo, and it's just a universal law. As long as you're vibrating, and even that, sometimes I know some people are like, that doesn't make sense. But as
yeah.
long as you're tuning yourself in to the person you want to be, then you're gonna get there. That's it at the basics. Everything else is just the crystals and the tarot card and the meditation is just a way for you to channel that. But you
Mm.
don't need that. That's just extra. I'm just very extra. I have everything.
Yeah, and that's similar, isn't it, to, whatever somebody kind of sees as a way to helping them to feel good. So the way
Yeah,
I see it is that if you feel good, like if you're feeling like grounded and you're feeling calm and you're feeling regulated and you're feeling ready, which for the nervous system, I talk about that being sort of in flow and focus,
yeah,
then you can take action to get the things that you want in. So you can take action towards your goals. Whereas
yeah,
if you're feeling rubbish, which a lot of people would talk about on a lower vibration, then it's hard to do those things that are helpful, isn't it?
yeah.
So, so what are the sorts of things that you would say um you might do for like whether you call it self-care or self-development, or whether you are there certain practices that you would do to sort of
Yeah.
raise your vibration?
So mine is dancing is my number one. Like
Oh, right, wow.
I love dancing. It just instantly gets my vibe going. So I created a playlist
Mm,
for my Soul Sisters. We have a playlist on Spotify. Anyone can find it. It's just Soul Sister Society playlist on Spotify. And I try and put like high vibe songs in there.
yeah,
And that's my go-to. Listening to one of them songs, having a little dance in my kitchen or my living room just instantly makes me feel good. And then I
yeah,
think the crystals and the tarot cards for me. So I think if I'm feeling a bit sad or a little bit flat or unsupported in any way, having the crystals, so having my crystal necklace, just holding it reminds me that I'm supported. So as much as the crystals are there to help with like your energy and stuff, for me, they're more of a reminder.
yeah.
So when I am feeling a little bit like, I don't know, my manifestation hasn't come when I expected it to, my
Mm,
crystal the reminder that I'm on the right path and I just have to trust in the timing. And the tarot cards, I think, are just for me a way of tapping into my intuition. So when
mm,
you've got 50,000 things running around your head, and I've got all these ideas of things to do, and knowing which one to tune into at that moment, that's where my tarot cards come in. They help me sort through the mess and just zone in on what it is that I need that day or
yeah,
that week.
yeah. So to keep like along the path that you're sort of heading in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if somebody doesn't really know where they're heading? How would you?
So that's a really hard one, and that's probably where I was like 18 months ago when I started
Okay.
this journey. I had like no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was feeling very like, is this it? Is this all there is to life? And I think it's just do something that lights you up. So your passions and your hobby don't have to turn into a career. That's not what it's about. But just anything that lights you up. If it's for me, it was reading books. That's
Yeah.
what I've always done. And that's now led me to find my purpose, which I never considered. I just liked reading. So I think if you just follow what it is that makes you feel good, whether it's reading, whether it's painting, whether it's drawing, whether it's dancing, whatever it is, whether it's writing, anything that just gives you that joy, just keep doing that and you'll be surprised at where that can lead you if you quiet the noise and just focus on what
Mm,
it is that you like to do. I think that's the key thing. Just do what lights you up and
yeah.
see where it takes you.
Yeah, because it sounds like very much when you're saying about like trusting that you're on the right path, that actually a lot of that is about, trusting the journey, trusting
Mm.
the process, but then trusting yourself to kind of think, well, what is it that I like doing? And that sense of trusting the process that when you do something that lights you up, that makes you feel good, or sometimes something might not feel completely aligned, but you might feel like a little nudge. I always think
Mm.
it only needs to be like an extra percent towards that thing and then do it
Yeah.
rather than waiting until everything's perfect to take action.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that I talk about on my podcast is if I'd have waited for everything to be perfect,
Mm,
Soul Sister Society still wouldn't be here because we live in a world where nothing's perfect. And you're
yeah,
always going to have that voice in your head that's telling you not to do something because it's wired to protect us. So you don't want to step out of your comfort zone because it's that
yeah,
fear, the fear of the unknown. So that's probably the biggest thing I'd say to people is don't wait until things are perfect because that's never going to happen. Just do it anyway. And actually, that's when you find your people. The people that joined my book club in the first month will openly admit that it didn't run very smoothly. Things
mm,
went wrong, but they fell in love with me for that in a way because then they got to see my journey. So they
yeah,
see me as authentic now because they saw me go start the book club from scratch and go through the technical issues and all the other stuff that comes with it. So actually all it's doing is showing the world that you're human, that
mm,
problems occur and challenges appear, but yeah, if you wait till something's perfect, then you'll never start, unfortunately. So you just need to
yeah,
jump in. Trust.
yeah. And oh, I imagine there's so many people, like myself included, that's maybe had ideas and then maybe procrastinated on it and not been sure, and maybe like leaning into it doesn't need to be perfect, but then hang on a minute, maybe should have been like waiting till I've got things organized a bit more. And yeah, it's great to be able to see that, to see that people are witnessing the process of it
Yeah.
and observing what I would probably call the messy middle. It's not necessarily messy as like that as such, but it's maybe learning in public and showing up and going, actually, a bit like what I've been was talking to you about with this podcast, like we're going with the flow with it.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's, the technical technology is not great. My words don't always come out. We're all learning as we go along.
Yeah.
And I think actually that can be easier for some people to resonate with than seeing somebody that's making like all the money that they want to in their world and like
Mm.
got all their goals achieved. And then you can look at and it can be hard to see how they started, can't it? So like
Yeah.
learn
I
one.
think that's social media. I have such a love-hate relationship with,
Mm,
and I think that's the problem with social media is it's a highlight reel, isn't it?
yeah,
Everybody posts the highlights, nobody posts the downs. And when you follow people where I know when I first started and I was taking the videos and I was doing my filming, and I was like, oh, my house isn't aesthetic enough and I don't have enough flowers in the background, and then I was like, but I don't live in a house with flowers. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to go buy flowers just to make them look pretty because that's not real. And I think it can be quite refreshing to. I know when I see somebody's reel or story that's not polished, I resonate with them more than I do if it's like picture
yeah.
perfect because that's not real life. And I don't know which book it was that I read, but one of them, I think it's out there quite a lot anyway, but never compare your day two to somebody
Mm,
else's day 50.
yeah,
And if I go on Instagram and I look at somebody that I love, and I admire and I want to be, I can't compare myself to them. They've been doing this for 10 years and I've been doing it for 4 months. I'm nowhere near where they are. And I think remembering that don't compare where you are to where somebody else is, because you're not on the same path. You're on completely different, or you're on the same path but maybe a completely different the parts of the path,
Different
should I
shoes.
say. Yeah. Couldn't think
Yeah.
of the word then.
Yeah. Because people say that, don't they? Like comparison is the thief of joy. And
Yes.
it's so hard to not compare yourself. Like I serious comparisonitis over here. And actually there are times when I might look to somebody and I'm inspired by them. And
Hmm.
there's times when I might look to somebody and it just fills me with dread that, like, oh, like such negative, intrusive thoughts come from me. And actually, if I was pretending not to have those things, and if I was going online and saying, don't compare yourself to others, you're on your own journey, same with you. Like
Yeah.
if we were doing that, then the chances are other people might be feeling a bit alienated that, oh, Leslie's got all of the ducks in a row. It's like, no, I'm just like saying this.
Pretending that I
Whereas
did.
if I said, actually, there's people that have been doing this for a less amount of time that I perceive to be more successful than me, and it really eats me up inside. They're the kind of things that I sometimes would get some advice about. Well, don't compare yourself to other people. But I think in some ways, being able to say, oh, actually, I was trying not to compare my day one to their day 50. But from what I'm seeing, I'm on day 50, they're on day one, and they're way up here. So I
Yeah.
think there's so many different variables, isn't there, when you see
Yeah.
what someone's showing up at the surface.
Yeah.
So when you talk about manifestation, um, so people talk about affirmations, don't they?
Yeah.
And sometimes, and you get this thing about language and saying the right sort of language. And like the reason why I'm asking this is that there's what happens on the outside, how you show up on the outside, and how you feel on the inside.
Mhm.
And what is it that's the most telling of it? So if you're showing up and claiming to do all of this and you're feeling good on
Yeah.
the outside, but feeling a bit rubbish on the inside, what's going to be the most pivotal?
I think it's I think it's a mindset. I think coming back to that comparison, I think remembering that the only person you need to compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday,
Mm,
because that's the only person you should be in competition with is yourself. And having that outside persona comparing to the inside persona. And I think coming back to the manifestation, they need to align, because if
okay.
you're out in the world saying, oh, I'm so grateful and life is so good and I'm so happy, but on the inside, you're not feeling like that,
Mm,
you're never going to manifest what you want, because you're not aligned. And I think affirmations are a fabulous tool to
mm,
help you bridge that gap between who you are on the outside and who you are on the inside. But I think for me, the pivotal thing was with the comparison was realizing that I just need to compare to myself. And if I compare who I am now to who I was a year ago, I am a completely different person. And what I like to say is, if somebody was to come and if a friend that I haven't seen for a year was to come to my house, nothing has changed externally. I'm in the
yeah,
same house, I'm in the same partner, I'm doing the same job. Yes, I have more crystals, but actually materialist, like I don't earn more money, I don't nothing magical from the outside world, but on the inside, I am so much more happy with who I
yeah.
am. I'm so much more confident. I'm so
Mm,
much more passionate about life. And I think when people go down the manifesting journey, people always want to manifest external things. They want to
yeah,
manifest money. They want to manifest, I don't know, clients or a nice body or a soulmate or whatever. But I think I realised that the biggest manifestation for me was changing who I am
yeah.
inside. And it was a conversation I had with one of my book club members actually, and she was like, so what have you manifested? And I was like, not that much actually. And she was like, oh, well, what about how you feel? And I was like, oh, like I'm completely different. And she was the one that was like, well, that's the biggest manifestation you can ask for, surely. You are that person. I am the
Yeah,
future me from a year ago, as cheesy as that sounds. And I think that's the biggest thing in any journey is
yeah,
don't look outside for validation, look inside. And it's hard to do. But once you
mm,
do it, it's an incredible feeling.
yeah. Because no, I can really like feel how important that is and how sort of powerful that is because we do often have this thing of, oh, maybe this perception that manifestations about manifesting that dream job or that car or that partner or that thing. And then that as a result of that, that's going to be where the happiness comes, or that's going to be where the feeling of satisfaction comes. Whereas actually, if you were creating that happiness from within and doing things that create that certainty and satisfaction in its own right,
Mm.
then those things like when the time's right may evolve and be manifested as a result of it. However, actually doing it, oh, I'm going to create some happiness inside so that I can create the right environment to attract my partner, to do all of this, then actually the brain knows that there's a little bit of a thing there going, hang on a minute, I'm not doing it just for me, I'm doing it for that, so it's not going to
Mm.
work.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you get a lot of that from people? Do you see that?
Yeah, I think because I think manifesting money or something material, maybe something small, but maybe I don't
Yeah,
know, you manifest £500, something like that. That is a lot easier to do than to manifest who you want to be.
yeah,
And with my book club members, when we've spoken about it, the goddess path was quite pivotal to this, was the shadow work and
mm,
manifesting a new you, who you are on the inside, your mindset and stuff, is probably the hardest thing to do because you have to really go deep within and you have to face your fears, you have to face them insecurities you have. And it's hard and it's not fun when you're in it. But like I say, when you come through that and you realize that you are that person you wanted to be a year ago, it's powerful. But I think that's the thing that's the hardest to manifest in a way. Not that it's impossible, it's not, but it relies solely on you doing the work. Because with manifesting money, with manifesting love, yes, the universe will align and you have to still take the goals. But when you're manifesting a new mindset, that's all you. That's all you. It's all the work you have to do. And
yeah,
yeah, it's hard, but worth it and doable
yeah,
for anybody. Anybody can do it.
yeah. And doing those things where it's very much about how you feel
Mm.
within you rather than what you have.
Yeah.
Maybe, do you know when you hear people saying like money doesn't buy happiness, but then you kind of actually maybe, give me the money and I'll tell you whether you have or not.
Yeah.
However, actually, the whole idea of that is that you can still feel like really misaligned with yourself
Mm.
if you had loads and loads of money, or if you
Yeah.
had all of those, you ticked all those boxes, you can still like feel like something's missing, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I think for me, realizing, so I started my journey with, oh, if I make this much money, I'll be happy. Or
Yeah,
if I do this, I'll be happy. And one of my things was, if I'm open and honest, was that I wanted to manifest £5,000, and then I was like, then I'll be happy because I
yeah,
can go on a shopping spree. And I manifested the £5,000, and I did go on a shopping spree, and for about a month I felt incredible. But I've not done the inner work, so that £5,000 didn't last
mm,
because my mindset was not ready to be fine to have that kind of money. So I just blew it. And it felt
yeah,
good at the time, but it didn't make me happy because then a month later, if anything, it made me worse because I was like, oh my God, you've just blown £5,000 on nothing. And then I started beating myself up like you don't deserve to have money. And
right.
it,
Hello, so I'm back. I seem to have just got had some technical issue there where I just got thrown out of this room and something technical happened and I don't know what was there, but I'm back.
We're
So
back.
yeah, we're back.
Sorry.
So, and in the nature of, thinking about ups and downs in life, and when something good happens, something not so good happens, and it can be so easy to be derailed by those things, can't it?
Yeah,
And actually, what we were speaking about before, like,
technology.
well, technology went wrong or didn't go according to plan, if we're going to phrase that differently, is we were talking about how, those internal things, how you're feeling on the inside is what's so important. That's what matters. And actually, rather than thinking, when this happens, when that happens, then I will feel confident, or then I'll feel happy, then I'll feel at peace. Being able to cultivate that within yourself,
Yeah,
that key, isn't it?
yeah.
So, in terms of cultivating that, and we talked about affirmations as well, I'm just really curious about like your stance on sort of gratitude and like, is it possible to like, yeah, what would an attitude of gratitude be for you?
An attitude of gratitude. I love that. So I think, speaking of like the challenges and things like that, I think being able to find gratitude in challenge is really, really powerful. It's like with what's just happened with us and the technology going wild and kicking us
Yeah,
out. You could flip that and find gratitude in it and be like, okay, well, it's just shown me that maybe I need to practice more, or maybe I need to. It's more reframing it to see it as something good rather than something bad. And it's not about being like toxic positivity, because I think a lot
no,
of people get manifestation and gratitude confused with
mm,
toxic positivity. Sometimes you have to feel stressed and you have to feel angry. That's normal. But I think once you've come through them feelings, if you can then switch to the attitude of gratitude and see a challenge as maybe more of a learning
mm,
possibility rather than a challenge.
yeah,
And gratitude for me changed what I, again, going back to that not feeling like enough. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough money, for example. But if you was to sit and think about how much you have in your life in abundance, maybe you own your own house that's worth 200,000. Maybe you own a car that's worth 5 grand. You own an iPhone that's worth £200. You own a
yeah,
TV that's worth £500. You add all that together, and actually, you've got a lot more wealth than you realize, but we're just so used to it that we take it for granted. And I think gratitude really helps you tune into just how much you already have to be grateful for. And we all know gratitude is key to manifestation, because if you're not grateful for what you have, you're never going to get more. But
yeah,
I did a money challenge a while ago, and one of the tasks was, it was just like a little bit of fun somebody
yeah,
was doing on Instagram, and one of the tasks was to write down everything you own and put an amount next to that. And when I got to the end, I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, I don't own my own house, but with everything else, I think I had like £25,000 worth, and I'm like, and then I'm sat there being like, oh, I need more money. Well, no, I don't. I own 25 grand worth of stuff. You just don't think
yeah,
about it like that. And switching it to have that gratitude for, actually, I have so much abundance in my life already.
mm,
It's that I think gratitude can be really powerful in, again, rewiring your mindset. I think that's what the whole thing is. It's rewiring your brain to look for the good. And
yeah,
when you start doing it on a daily basis, you'll be surprised when you go for a walk how much more appreciative of nature you are, because you're just rewiring your brain. And again, it's not toxic positivity. I'm very passionate about that people need to feel the feelings. You need to feel the bad to feel the good. But yeah, just rewiring your brain so that the little things in life light you up without you even thinking about it. I go for a walk, and the amount of times I'll just stop and look at the sky and see a bird. And 2 years ago, I'd never have done that. I'd have probably been complaining that I had to walk somewhere rather than
mm,
get a bus or something. But yeah, it just rewires your brain to notice the good in the little things that we're all so lucky to have in our lives.
mm. Like, just like being aware, really, and
Mhm.
like really kind of seeing it from that perspective of appreciation rather than like rather than lack.
Yeah.
thing. And it's not necessarily about how much there is there, but like you say, you clocked up all of like how everything that's around you is what that's worth if you were to
Mhm.
buy it now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And how much of that do you actually need? Like if I was to like look at all the things around me, there's so many different things, and there's so many things. There's a lot of things that I sort of think, well, I don't really need all of that, and I'm okay without so many items. But
Yeah.
it's that richness of your life that life can be rich because of experiences and
Mm.
because like of how you live in your life, like you said about kind of being outside and taking time to slow down and really look.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if I think majority of people who know about manifestation have read The Secret by Rhonda
Yeah.
Byrne. And she also did one called The Magic, which
Mm,
is the 28-day challenge. And one thing that I
yeah.
absolutely loved from that is about being grateful for your bills because I mean, you get a bill. We
Yeah.
don't get through the post so much now anymore, DM or email, but you get the bill or you see it come out of your bank and you're like, oh, I've just paid £100 to gas and electric. And especially now with cost of living, it's so easy to fall into that. Everything's so expensive and it is, don't get me wrong, it is. But if you if you stop and think about what that bill's actually providing you with, so your
Yeah.
gas and electric, you can have central heating in the winter, it keeps you warm. It allows you to have a shower, it allows you to cook your food, it allows you to watch television, maybe you work from home. And if you just think about all the things that you actually get from that bill, you stop resenting paying it, you start to actually appreciate it. And it's just
Yeah.
little things like that, little tweaks that you can make that don't take any more time, they don't take any more, don't cost you anything. But it's surprising how much better that makes you feel
Mm,
about the things that you maybe resent. People resent
yeah.
paying bills, but really, we should be thankful that we have gas and electric to pay
Yeah.
for.
So and actually, if I'm thinking about all those things and thinking, yeah, we're really grateful, I'm paying my internet bill. However, if I was born 2000 years ago, we wouldn't have had this issue with the internet
Yeah.
having just cut out then and then us needing to get back onto it because we wouldn't have had that.
Yeah.
So actually, it's having that appreciation of all of those things and being able to say, well, okay, what can this is an investment.
Mhm.
Like I'm paying my electric bill as an investment for
Yeah.
all of these different things that I'm experiencing in my life, rather than something that feels like draining and
Yeah.
stressful.
Yeah, especially at the moment, because obviously with cost of living, it is
Yeah,
really easy to fall into that negativity trap of how expensive everything is. And it's okay to have a fleeting thought. We're only
yeah,
human. But I think for me, when I see the bills come out, um, I just take a couple of seconds just to, or when I'm paying a bill, I'll just take a couple of seconds just to be thankful for what that bill provides.
yeah.
And yeah, and I think one of I can't remember who it is. I think it's Victoria Jackson. I don't know if you follow her. She's amazing
Oh
at
no.
rewire. She's fabulous at rewiring your money mindset. And she did something that was like, we are very quick to assume the cycle of money. It comes in, it goes out, it comes in. But if you flip that to it goes out, then it comes in. So if you flip that to
Yeah,
every money I spend comes back to me. And it does
yeah,
because you get paid every month, don't you? Or you get whatever it is, whatever income it is that you get. So flipping it from it comes in just to go back out again. You can flip it to it goes out, but it comes back in again. So it's fine. So it's
yeah,
just little mindset shifts like that. It's surprising how
yeah,
the small things can make such a big difference.
yeah. Oh, exactly. And it's maybe just like being mindful of
Mm,
money as an energy, like it's what's up, like thought about, and times when you really want to be able to intentionally spend that money and go
mm,
and buy something and purchase something, rather than times when it feels like it's a fine or a fee, which can
yeah.
feel like a totally different energy. Yeah, I was in a money challenge recently, and one of the tasks was to name money so
Mm,
that and it's having a different association. And at first, I really struggled to do that. I couldn't think of it. I was in this block, and because it was just thinking, well, whatever I call it, it would still be that. But
yeah.
then eventually, I got into a name, and I call it Boo.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
that's short for boomerang because it keeps
Oh,
coming back.
it keeps coming back.
And
I like
it
that.
just from what you said reminded me of
Yeah,
it. Like just boo. And
yeah.
it's like quite a neutral thing. Although like the only boo that I know is maybe from Monsters Inc., the little
Monsters
girl.
Inc.
It's like
Yeah,
quite cute kind of thing,
yeah,
and it's like maybe cute and harmless. It's not kind of non-threatening. And but boo, it's like you spend it and keeps coming back.
yeah. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah,
But
it
it's
is.
just
It's
whatever
just
tool.
little mindset shifts, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's whatever tool sort of works.
Yeah, it's what resonates with you. I think in the book that we're reading at the moment, Infinite Receiving by Susie Ashworth,
Yeah.
she talks about how money and it is hard because of how we're wired, I think, with society, but money isn't good or bad. It doesn't have a personality. It's not even an object, is it? Because half of the time it's just a number on your screen
Yeah.
on your online banking. You don't actually have it physically as such. So it's literally just an energy and it's the connotations that you apply to it. So if you think money's bad, then that's the experience you're going to have with it because that's the mindset that you're in. But if you just think that money is just energy and it's just an energy exchange between you and whoever it is that you're dealing with at the time, money's not a bad thing. It's very neutral. It's you can do good with it or you can do bad with it. It's who
Yeah.
has the money that makes it good or bad. I think because I think a lot of people struggle with like the money mindset because we if you're not born to money or if you struggle at any point, you are kind of told, aren't you, like money's bad and all these
Yeah.
rich people like Elon Musk and stuff's like everywhere at the moment and everyone's tearing him down, which okay, fine, but it's not the money that's bad. It's what
No.
he's doing with that, if that makes sense. Like so just remembering that
Yeah.
money's just an energy, that's all it is. It's just doesn't have a personality.
No. And if you're a good person and you know you've got good intentions, having more money is going to fuel that. If
Yeah.
you're an evil person, then having more money is going to fuel
It
that.
just amplifies
So,
whatever you are, basically, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
so, yeah.
And actually, of course, like we all, like you were saying about the shadow side, there's all, we often have, like, we're all prone to that of having different thoughts and different beliefs and things that kind of come in and out, and exploring those with compassion can is part of that self-development. And
Mm,
purely we're all changing, developing.
yeah.
So, which gets me on to sort of the whole purpose of this podcast is like that idea of a new pace, stepping into a new pace. And in one way, you could talk about kind of those different elements, pause, act, create, and power. Or it could just be like just the whole thing as an idea, stepping into a new pace. What would that mean to you? Is there any of those words that stand out or that feel important?
Pause, I think. I think in it we live in a world, or a society, should I say, that's very much about the hustle. Everything's
Mm.
like go, go, go. And it's all about hustling. And there was a saying a few years ago, wasn't there, where if you, what is it, something like when you're sleeping, you could be earning, or something like earn money while you
Oh
sleep. It's
yeah,
like there's
yeah,
just no switch off anymore. And I think
yeah,
pausing is so important for just for everything, for your physical health, for your mental health, for your emotional health. So for me, just taking time every day to pause, whether it's a minute, whether it's an hour, just doing something to take yourself out of the hamster wheel that is life that's constantly spinning and just give
yeah,
yourself time to just pause and reflect or it doesn't even have to be reflect, it could just be literally sometimes I just do nothing. I'll just lay on my
yeah,
bed and just literally I'll set a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and I'll just lay there and just take that
yeah.
time to just unwind a little bit. So I think pause is really important.
Yeah, good for you to be able to do that because sometimes people see like pausing as having to do a task like a
Yeah.
meditation or something.
And it took me a long time to do
Mm,
that because I'd be laid there and I'd be like, oh, I could be using this time to do this. I could be doing this. I think somebody once said that your to-do list will only end when you're dead. Like you're
mm,
always going to have something on your to-do list. It's never ending. But if I don't get the washing out today, is it the end of the world? No, I can do it
no,
tomorrow. It doesn't matter. But if I don't take that time to rest, is that going to have a negative impact on my mental health, on my physical health? Yeah, it's going to have a bigger impact than not getting my washing out today. Like it's little things like that, and it was really hard at first. Like I say, I probably only make it a minute or two, and I'm like, no, I need to get up and do something. But again,
Yeah.
the more you train yourself, the easier it becomes. And I think as well, going back to the manifestation and what I like to call woo woo,
Yeah.
it's at them times where I'm laid on the bed just doing nothing that I get an idea.
Mm.
Because when you're so busy all the time, and I think we fill as time constantly. If we're in the shower, maybe we're listening to music. If you're washing up, maybe you've got a podcast on. If you're watching TV, you're scrolling your phone. We're constantly consuming. So there's no space for anything
Yeah.
to come to us. But if you just take 5 minutes of doing nothing, you will be surprised at how many ideas pop into your head, because that's when the universe can deliver its download. I call them downloads, but it can give you them nudges or them ideas. And it was at that point when the book club came to me, when I was laid on the bed doing nothing, and I saw the notification on my phone that Andrea was no longer running the book club. And it was at that point where something inside was like, okay, well, now's the time. And if I hadn't have taken that 5 minutes, would I have developed Soul Sister Society? You don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, pausing can be really powerful in giving you the creativity you need
Yeah. It
to
feels
bring
like
it.
it's like fitting in with infinite receiving. It feels like that's part of like creating space to receive.
Yeah.
So it's got somewhere to go. So
Mm,
if your mind's full of so many things, so busy and you rushing around all the time, you not have time to pause, then you haven't got space to receive those ideas or
no.
to mull them over,
Yeah.
to really process it.
Yeah, they always say, I think part of manifestation again is the universe will always fill a space, but it'll always fill a gap.
Yeah.
So it's like they say, I mean, obviously I'm with my partner, but I know there's people that I've listened to on podcasts say, if you're manifesting a soulmate, do you have room for them in your home? Is your wardrobe got enough space for somebody else? Have you got an empty drawer for them? Because if you don't, you there's no room for the soulmate to come into your life. And it's the same with the pausing. If you're so busy ticking things off your to-do list and just rushing through the day, when you actually got time to receive anything? You haven't. You have to create
Yeah.
space for whatever it is that you're creating. Otherwise, it's never going to
Yeah.
come because you're too full.
Yeah. Oh, that really hit hard. I found myself giggling because it's like that hit hard because
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm single and yeah, I'm not sure they'd have a shelf to go in right now.
You have to create space for them. I said it to my mum. My
Yeah,
mum, I mean, my mum doesn't believe in manifesting or anything, but she was looking for a partner, and I was like, Mum, there's no room for them. You've got
yeah,
two wardrobes overflowing with clothes. There's just no room whatsoever for anybody to come into your life. So she did listen, and she emptied out one drawer. And within a month, she met the guy that she's with now. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't believe in manifestation, but I think just clearing that one drawer just sent a signal out that, okay, I'm ready to.
yeah. Because I suppose if it was flipped the other side and you felt that you had, you went somewhere and you had somewhere to sit, for instance, then
Mm,
you would stick around.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like when I go to my auntie's. I mean, she suffers with mental health, and she's like a hoarder, and there's nowhere to sit because she's just got stuff everywhere. So I don't stay for long. I only stay for 10 minutes because I'm uncomfortable because there's nowhere for me to sit. And then she feels bad because she's lonely. But I'm like, but if you just cleared the space, I'd stay for longer. But there's nowhere for me to sit. So after 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, well, I'll
yeah,
go then because I'm just stood up, and who wants to stand and drink a cup of coffee for more than, do you know, it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
create space for whatever it is you want, and the universe will fill it. Whether you believe in manifestation or not, something will fill that space.
yeah. Right. Brilliant. And I think that's definitely kind of where maybe coming to a pause
Hmm.
naturally feels quite right to do that because then actually we can create space with our lives from here.
Yeah.
So how might people be able to find you or get involved?
So you can find me on Instagram at Soul Sister Society. I also have a podcast, the same name, Soul Sister Society. You can find it on Spotify, you can find it on Apple, and you can find me on Facebook, Kalie Woolley. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. But yeah, and my DMs or anything is open to anybody who has, even if you don't want to join the book club, even if you just want to chat, I'm more than happy to just talk with people. I always like to hear people's stories and things. So yeah,
Yeah.
Instagram's where I'm at mainly. That tends to be where I hang out the most. But yeah, my podcast is on Apple and Spotify. And then if anybody did want to join the book club, you can find that at patreon.com/Soul Sister Society.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm everywhere.
And we'll put all these links in the show notes as well, so you
Yeah.
don't need to go searching. And I think just what I'm grateful for, we'll talk about gratitude, is how actually just getting a glimpse as to what it might be like inside your book club of talking about some of those themes and
Hmm.
that idea of what it would be like for somebody that is maybe reading the book, but they might feel that their family don't understand, or they might feel that when they go to work and they're talking about different topics and that it feels like really out of reach to deep dive with it. So it feels like really refreshing to be able to, just explore those things and to be curious about those things.
Yeah, if you're feeling lonely, you don't have anyone to talk to about self-development, or you're feeling a little bit judged because you've got your crystals, we are like the safe space where you can come, and we're all the same. We're all into manifestation and self-development. So yeah, we're just here. And like I say, even if you don't want to join the book club, my DMs are open. Everyone's welcome to message me just for a little bit of support.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
Kaylee.
you for having me. It was been very nice. Thank
It's been
you.
lovely to talk with you, and hopefully we'll be able to share this and it will be packaged really well so it'll be easy for people to listen to, or it might end up being in two parts depending on how we go.
Yes.
But and thank you for listening generally to these two or one, depending on how it goes, episodes of a New Pace podcast. And let us know if you've got any questions, or let us know if there's any particular topics that you think you'd like to hear more about on this podcast. And bye for now. Cheerio.